sustainability can be a bit of a buzzword, and it can mean a lot of different things to different folks. But if we think about the ability of our businesses to survive and thrive for the long term, that's sustainability too. If we look at the condition of the world, we need a planet that has functioning clean air and not unbridled natural disasters left, right, and center. And we need healthy people and we need healthy communities in order for us to all thrive. Business depends on the carrying capacity of the planet not being overrun. And so in that context, sustainability, it's not a buzzword. It's really about doing the things we need to do to ensure our long-term success. You have to think about both the ability to make an impact and the potential impact that you're already having. Right now, transportation and logistics is about 8 to 10% of global carbon emissions, in addition to creating a lot of air quality pollution, black carbon. There's people impacts on people's health from all of that, as well as workplace health and safety, and a whole number of different issues that transportation and logistics as an industry has a footprint and a potential handprint. When we think about sustainability in the context of transportation and logistics, we're thinking about how can we minimize our footprints? How can we minimize the negative impacts that we're having on people or the planet? And then how can we leverage what we do to drive positive change, positive impact on people and on the planet? What can the transportation and logistics industry, or the transportation and logistics aspects of lots of other industries, do to contribute to sustainability? One big piece of it is about driving efficiency. And the great thing about that is it lowers costs as well as lowering impact. If we can help optimize the route, if we can reduce the amount of things that need to be sent or shipped, if we can figure out ways to condense and have more weight on a particular vehicle rather than more trips with less weight. So route optimization, load optimization, mode optimization. If we can look at how are we moving things, does it really need to be flown and be there in a day? Or could it go on ocean or on rail or on truck and domestically, right? Because those are all decisions that we get to make that both drive our profitability as shippers, as carriers, as LSPs, but also drive the impact that we're having on people and on the planet. That can do a lot, but it can only do so much, right? So in order to achieve the goals that we need to achieve, which is basically net zero impact by 2050 at the latest, ideally sooner, ideally 2040, we're going to have to be innovative and look for other opportunities to decarbonize, to reduce waste, to reduce impact. And one of the benefits of sustainability is whenever you put constraints on an issue or a problem, it makes you think creatively and have innovative ways to figure out how to address those constraints, right? And sustainability is a great tool to unlock innovation. One of the ways that companies are innovating around transportation and logistics, on top of all of the efficiency and leveraging AI to drive optimization and all of those things, is looking at what are the fuels that are propelling the vehicles that we're using to move freight. In aviation, there's sustainable aviation fuel, which comes from biological sources like used cooking oil and isn't just pulling petroleum out of the ground. Similarly, for marine and ocean transport, there's sustainable marine fuel, also very similar feedstocks for that. And the carbon intensity of sustainable aviation fuel or sustainable marine fuel is significantly lower than standard jet fuel or standard marine fuel. And then you also, of course, have electrification. And a lot of companies are seeing a lot of success with this, especially for last mile. Anywhere where there's a short distance to convey goods, electrification of heavy-duty trucking is a really good solution. So just by swapping the fuel and keeping the modes the same, we can reduce emissions further. We're actually working on a really cool project with electrifying a route across the border from Juarez to El Paso. It's a short distance. It's like 12 or 14 miles, but the trucks can sit and idle on the bridge for hours at a time, and that creates a lot of carbon emissions that aren't necessary. It also creates a lot of air pollution, which impacts the communities surrounding the border. And so there's an environmental impact and environmental justice aspect as well. And so we're working on a project with a shipper to electrify their freight that is going across that border. There's transportation sustainability, and then there's also warehousing sustainability. So in the built environment, there are a lot of opportunities to reduce the impact. Where you site the warehouses, where you site and put things can help with route optimization. B, you can put investments into buildings that make the energy required to run those buildings much, much lower. So from putting in LED lighting or building in natural lighting from the get-go, to electrifying the forklifts that are in a facility, to making sure that the materials that are being used have better sustainability attributes. There are a lot of ways to help make warehousing more sustainable as well. And when you can play at the intersection of those and make the warehousing more sustainable and make the transportation more sustainable, then you work in a direction of having truly sustainable logistics. If you look at the full breadth of sustainability with big S that's inclusive of impacts on people and planet, there are dozens of different issues that a company can focus on and put attention on. Manufacturing, production, distribution and transportation, how you treat your workforce, how you engage with your suppliers, what happens after the useful life of a product, and end of life and circularity. There's just so many different topics that it makes sense to focus. And the best guidance that I can give on that is to look for two things. One, look for the quick wins, the things that you can do that don't require a lot of investment of time or capital, but are going to yield quick results, because that can build momentum and that can build an appetite to do more. Secondly, look for the things that are most material to your company. So if you are a company that is in transportation and logistics, world hunger probably isn't going to be a thing you're going to try to move the needle on, right? But lowering the air pollution and carbon impact of the transportation certainly is, right? If you're operating factories or warehouses or you have drivers, workplace health and safety is paramount and needs to have focus put on it. If you look for the things that you can really drive change on, and also the things that can really impact your business and find that intersection, that's a good place to start. We approach sustainability through two lenses, really. One is making sure our own house is in good order. And we have to do that. We have to make sure that we're operating sustainably and responsibly. Where I get the most excited is where there are opportunities to partner with other companies, with shippers, with supplier partners, with others in our industry, and look at what we can do together. And so some of the things that we've been doing with some of our partners and some of our clients are looking for those opportunities to optimize routing and load and mode so that we reduce the environmental impact of the freight that we're moving. We're partnering with some of our clients on some pilot projects where they realize that there's a need for additional investment. So there's the cross-border electrification project. We're working on another project to put in renewable diesel or HVO on a lane in the middle of the country where supply and access doesn't exist right now. We're working on procuring sustainable aviation fuel for some shippers in order to address the emissions of the air freight that we move for them. And we're also working with several of our clients and also with our partners around packaging and circularity and looking at ways to reduce waste. The thing that we're most excited about, the thing I'm most excited about, is just getting together with other partners and looking where the opportunities are. What can we do together? Where could we be a force multiplier? Where can we help catalyze impact by looking at the work we do together and figuring out how we can do that more sustainably, more responsibly.